Hello and welcome back to the Tech Talks Daily podcast, the show that takes an incisive look at the intersection of technology, our work and our daily lives. And I'm your host, Neil C. Hughes, bringing you conversations with innovators, business leaders, thought leaders, and the people who are shaping our future with the technologies of tomorrow. And today, we're going to be diving into the rapidly evolving world of artificial intelligence, a subject that is increasingly commanding our attention. And you might have read the recent New York Times piece, I think it was by Simon Johnson, who presented a rather pessimistic view of AI technology and its potential threat. But let's be honest, our news feeds are full of stories like this. But to restore the balance in the universe, today I want to offer a slightly different perspective and something a little bit more positive. So joining me today is Shomron Jacob. He's the head of applied machine learning and platform at a company called Iterate.ai, which is at the forefront of AI development, and they're bringing AI-powered low-code software and ecosystems to accelerate innovation projects within enterprises. And one of the reasons I invited him on here is because he has an incredibly optimistic and, most importantly, balanced view around any discussion on the future of AI, its implications, and its enormous potential. So today we're going to be discussing the way AI can level the playing field for businesses of all sizes, the role of AI in boosting creativity, emerging trends in generative AI, the evolution of AI technology, and so much more. So if you've ever wondered about the possibilities that AI presents or fear about its potential threats, you should enjoy this episode. So buckle up and hold on tight as I beam your ears all the way to the US, where Shomron is waiting to join us today. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell everyone listening a little about who you are and what you do?
Yes, perfect. Thank you so much, Neil, for having me. My name is Shomron Jacob. I run the AI side of tech at Iterate.ai. So I'm basically the head of machine learning and AI at Iterate. My day-to-day comprises of playing with all these cool technologies where we can build out AI solutions for our clients. And then these days I've been pretty busy with ChatGPT and LLMs. So, but yeah, it's the world I always wanted to be in. So I'm pretty happy.
You and me both. It's such a pleasure to have you on here. And one of the things that put you on my tech radar, you set off my spidey senses, was when I think it was a response to a recent article that was critical of AI technology and AI companies. And you advocate for a more nuanced and constructive approach, because I think we've all seen those articles clogging up our newsfeed with robots with red eyes, and it's the end of the world, etc. I've even seen it on the nightly news here of should we ban AI, etc. So can you elaborate on the kind of challenges and opportunities for AI for society and how we can actually ethically implement and deploy this technology while also understanding some of its limitations? Because so much of that nuance has been lost, hasn't it, in recent months?
Oh, that's absolutely right. That's correct. Yes. And that article was something I was writing, and I was very skeptical because I was like, a lot of people will not like what I'm writing because they just like to work with AI and things like that. But again, I'll give you my take why I wrote what I wrote. And again, ever since ChatGPT came out this year, the whole spectrum of the way AI was looked at has changed. Everything has changed. Because I've been in this stream for 5 years, and last year I've seen the biggest change. Every other year before that was pretty normal, how we expected it to be. So the article I wrote, I was basically trying to articulate the boundless potential of AI and how it can drastically alter various aspects of our society. And it can range from anything, like from healthcare to manufacturing to transportation, education, anything. And AI has been the most promising technologies with enormous potential of growth. But again, the path to it getting used with ethics and the right amount of rules around it is pretty hard, because the way AI works is it learns from data, and not a lot of people are new to this tech, so they don't understand how it works, and which is normal. Like even I don't understand half the time what I'm looking at. So for them to use it the way it should be used, they need to understand how it's built and how it's generating what it's generating. So that makes it very hard for AI to be used in the most righteous way it should be. So one of the significant challenges is basically equal distribution of AI benefits. And this brings me to my previous point. Currently, we are at the risk of creating an uneven society where only those who have access to AI technology can enjoy its real advantages. People who are not eligible or are not accessible to AI will not get the advantages it provides. And that can be seen in the Bay Area. For people who are working on AI and who are very well versed with how it works and ChatGPT, they are basically using it to create the next best solution, the next fastest way to go to market and things like that. But people in the real world who are doing more manual jobs or who are doing not non-techie jobs, they still haven't figured out a way to use it. And that in a way is not advantageous for the society, because there's a part of society that's using it to make it better for themselves and for the society around them. But then there's a part of society who has no clue what's going on. So we have to figure out a way to balance this, so people who don't have access can also get access and take advantages of it, while people who have access can continue helping everyone out. So the AI advancements contribute to social good and are accessible to everyone, which is very essential. Another challenge is the ethical implications of AI decision-making process. What I mean by that is AI today learns from data. So there's a potential risk of having biases present in data, which could lead to unfair outcomes. So if the data is not correct, and if you haven't paid attention to the kind of data you're using, your AI systems will start giving biased outputs, which might be useful for you, but it's not the real thing. It's not telling you the right thing. So you might think it's working out, but in the longer run, it'll have a pretty bad effect, because you might be following a trend that does not exist. So that is another very important thing to pay attention to, the ethical implications of decision-making process. And again, the potential misuse of AI technologies is of significant concern. For example, deepfakes can cause misinformation and deception. And this happened when ChatGPT came out. A lot of people started making calls to other people, pretending to be their family members, asking for passport numbers and bank IDs. And they fell for it because it was like a call from their mom. Technically, it wasn't. But with this deepfake technology, they were able to replicate the voice and make another version of it, which is possible with AI. But again, that's the thing we need to work towards, making sure that that's not how it's used, and it is not how people are using it to harm others. Again, transparency and interpretability of AI is another challenge. Most AI models, particularly the deep learning models, which is what is powering ChatGPT and large language models, are often referred to as black boxes, because whatever happens inside them is not easily interpretable by humans. They don't understand what's going on, which is rightly so. Like if you ask a doctor, how do you do a heart surgery? They will know what's going on. But as an outsider, I have no clue what's going on. So this is how AI works as well. A lot of people who don't understand the tech, who don't understand the architecture of the model, don't necessarily know what is going on, or they don't necessarily understand how the output is coming. So the lack of transparency makes it challenging to understand and trust these AI decisions, because even though it might be the right answer, you just don't know if you should trust it, if that makes sense. One of the most popular topic of discussion ever since AI came out with ChatGPT is job displacement caused by that. And it's a real issue. A lot of people think it's going to happen. Well, it is going to happen, but not the way they think it is. So while AI could create a lot of jobs, which it'll also displace people who are doing a lot of routine and manual tasks. So these government and organizations have to focus on retaining and upskilling workers, and need to teach them a lot so that when these new jobs open, they can be useful there, because that's the power of AI. It's going to open so many new jobs which we couldn't have thought of back in the days. But again, the purpose of AI was to replace the manual work. So it will eventually also replace a lot of manual things out there. So that shift of knowledge and that shift of like upskilling people, it has to be done. And it is required at the government and the organization level. And then, despite these challenges, there are very substantial opportunities. With robust regulations and standards, we can ensure that AI systems are transparent, interpretable, and fair. Now, regulatory authorities also have to establish guidelines for data collection and usage, what kind of algorithm they're using, so some sort of algorithm transparency and security measures. And to minimize the potential use of AI, we need to have strong legal and ethical frameworks. We also need to create some sort of cooperation between different stakeholders in the AI ecosystem. For example, policymakers, researchers, industries, and public should collaborate to ensure the ethical development of AI. And education and awareness about AI should be promoted, right from schools to colleges to organization level, because even though it seems like a thing where you don't need to know, but eventually with time, you will have to know what's going on for you to use it, if not do anything else about it. But yeah, that's my blurb on how we can ethically use it and some limitations around it as well.
Yeah, and it's so important understanding how to ethically implement and deploy the technology while understanding its limitations. And that brings us to Iterate.ai, where you focus on accelerating innovation projects within large enterprises using AI-powered low-code software. So,
right.
But we are at a time where people are challenged with doing more with less, especially in businesses, and every tech project comes under close scrutiny for what value does it offer, what ROI does it offer. So how does this technology empower businesses to better develop and deploy digital solutions faster? And how do you see it leveling the playing field for smaller companies that maybe previously couldn't afford significant tech investments like this? Because in some ways, it does feel like it's leveling the playing field a little.
No, that's correct. That's a very good question. And you said it right. It's actually leveling the field for a lot of smaller companies. And the best example is we are a small startup as well. And we didn't have a lot of funding back then. We don't have a lot of funding. We're not on profits. So, I mean, if a startup like us can do what we're doing, that basically gives you the right example of how it's leveling the field, because we are literally competing with the Googles and the Microsoft in developing these AI techniques and models and solutions for other companies, which was only done by the bigger companies till now. But there are a lot of startups out there who are doing it today. And again, to focus on what we do, again, like you said, we have a AI-powered low-code software. So we basically license our software for people to come and build all these cool AI technologies and pipelines on it. For example, if you need a chatbot to answer all your customer service questions, it can be voice, it can be text, it can be anything. That particular setup can be built through us very fast. And then that is how we empower business, because they can develop and deploy really fast, which couldn't have been done like maybe 5 years from now. Because you would have to go to an AWS or you would have to go to a Microsoft and see what they are providing to build a chatbot and then deploy it through them, which again increases the cost as well, because they are letting you use the services along with hosting the service for you. So that's where we come in. We are supporting smaller to mid to large companies to do the exact same thing, but at a lower cost and at a way where they want to do it the way they like. For example, AWS and Microsoft and all these big companies really let you use what they have, but they won't let you customize it. Like if you want the chatbot to reply to a certain query in a certain way, you can do that, but it won't let you support another complete different category of a question or a query, because they don't really let you do that. Like they'll give you what they have, take it or leave it kind of setup. But today, with all these startups out there, especially us, you can do that as well. You can come to us and you can tell us what kind of data you have, what kind of queries you're trying to achieve, what kind of answers you're trying to send out to your customers, what kind of responses you're looking for, how do you want the pipeline to work, where do you want your customers to go when they have an issue. And all of this can be built with AI on our platform. And we let you customize it the way you like. We let you build it the way you like. So that is where our power comes, because we let you decide what you want and we let you make it the way you want. And that has been the motto ever since, and it has worked really well. We've had a lot of people come in and use our platform to build out license plate recognition models, chatbots, voice bots, e-commerce, AI-powered e-commerce, recommendation engines. Again, could have been done outside as well, but they did it through us in a very fast way because of our platform, the way it is, and customized it the way they like. So that's where we come in.
And as this is a tech podcast, it's almost the law that we've got to mention generative AI at least, right? Because it has been making waves in the tech and business world this year, especially in boosting creativity and allowing people to scale quicker. But for anyone that has been asleep this year or hoping things like ChatGPT and Gen AI was just a trend that would quickly disappear, the bad news is it's not going to disappear. So if I was to ask 10 people listening, I suspect I may get different answers. So I'd love to ask you, can you explain exactly what generative AI is and how it enhances the creative processes in various industries? Because there might be a few people listening that have heard all the bad stuff and not particularly heard of the positive things that it can bring to their business.
Correct. Well, that's a good question. Again, you won't believe it. When ChatGPT came out, I literally asked myself the same thing. Like, okay, what is going on in generative AI? So good question. In the simplest way, generative AI is a form of artificial intelligence that basically leverages machine learning techniques to generate data, in simple words. So you have some sort of techniques that you can club together and teach it teach a model that I want you to look at this data and give me the best possible response for a question or a query I have. Now, this data that it produces at the end can resemble any kind of data. So it can be images, music, speech, text, anything. So it doesn't necessarily just give you text or give you music. It can give you even images. It can give you even speech. And the generation is not based on a predefined set. So it's not like the answers that it's generating is something that we teach it. But instead, it creates new, unique outputs from the patterns and the features it learns from the input data. So it's almost like humans. And this is what I tell everyone. Generative AI is almost like humans. Like if you teach humans something with a smaller set, like if you show it an apple once or twice, the third time it'll know what it is. Generative AI is becoming like that, and it'll eventually get there as well. Right now, you need a lot of data to train a model to do generative AI, but eventually, where generative AI will go is where you don't need a lot of data, and we'll touch on it in a second as well. But two of the most common types of generative AI models right now, most common type, and there are more than two, but right now, the world is literally using these two types a lot. One is called the Generative Adversarial Networks, GANs, and Variational Autoencoders, VAE, is the short form for it. So GANs work by having two models. The Generative Adversarial Network have two inbuilt models in them. One's a generator, one's a discriminator, and they work hand in hand. So basically, they compete with each other to find the right answer. And that's how the architecture of that model is. While the other one, the variational encoders, are based on statistical principles of Bayesian inference. Again, it's a lot of tech words I'm using, so feel free to Google on it. But they are using the principles of Bayesian inference and are basically used to generate complex and high-dimensional data. Again, I'm just throwing buzzwords out there for a lot of people listening to this, but feel free to Google on this, so it'll make a lot of sense. So these two models are most commonly used today. Again, there are people out there who are using different models as well, so it doesn't really stop there, but these two are the most popular models in the world of AI. Now, generative AI is definitely enhancing the creative processes in various industries in numerous ways. So I'll list out a few. Again, the list doesn't stop here, but these are the few 4, 5, 7 things I have seen which have picked up ever since generative AI came out and have become very popular and are doing really well. So the first one is art and design. Generative AI can create novel and intricate patterns that human designers may not think of. And it's a very good thing. It's nothing bad. Like people think, oh, it's not replacing me. It's there to help you. Yeah. So things that you can't think of, things that probably wouldn't come to your mind, it's something that this particular technology will do. And it'll only accelerate the designing process. It can also be used to generate art, from paintings to music, to creating new avenues for artistic expression. So it's literally there to enhance what you already know, not there to take away your jobs or replace what you're doing. Content creation is another one. In the realm of writing and content creation, AI can produce drafts or ideas, literally the whole thing, by a bunch of sentences. It can write the whole draft for you. It can idealize what you were thinking of. It can reduce the burden of human creators and allow them to focus on refining and personalizing content. So like I said in my previous blurb, generative AI will free up your time to do better things. That's why it's been doing well. It's not going to replace you. It's not going to be like you're going to have nothing to do and your day is going to look free. Like you will not do what you're not supposed to do, and you'll focus on things that you should be focusing more on, because these smaller tasks are then taken care of with the AI. Third industry is the film and entertainment. In the movie production, generative AI can be used to create realistic digital characters, backgrounds, and even scenes. And this is something I saw on LinkedIn the other day. There was a post where someone created an entire teaser of a film using generative AI and images. That's it, nothing. There's no director involved. There's no music involved. There's no shooting involved. And that's the fastest growing industry is the film and entertainment. Because now with a bunch of images, which can also be created using generative AI, and a bunch of generative AI tech on the video side, you can hook up the whole thing within a few hours and you can send it out. Fashion industry, again, the creation of new designs based on trends, past designs, specific input parameters can be used to assist in predicting upcoming fashion trends. Marketing and advertising, it can help create personalized ads, promotional material, even complete your marketing campaigns based on the audience's preferences and behavior. All this can be done with the human today, but you can literally use this to do it for you, and then you can focus on another task. And then architecture and urban planning. Again, biggest industry that will be touched with time. The models will be used to build building designs and city infrastructures and layouts. It'll all come. A lot of people think, no, it's not possible, blah, blah, blah. It's all going to come. It might not be now, might not be for the next 6 months, but it will eventually get to a point where the whole city layout can be done using AI models. So yeah, these are the 7 or 6 places where I think we will see tremendous amount of enhancement when it comes to creativity in different industries.
And it's so great to hear you talking about that and talking about it passionately, because as I said, our news feeds have been full of all the bad stuff there. We forget, I think we have to lose sight of the incredibly cool stuff, and also just freeing your time up to focus on the more important things is invaluable in a business. And one of the things we must highlight, of course, is the trends around Gen AI have continuously evolved and will also continue to do that. So I'm curious, what are some of the different trends you've observed, and how do you see that they will impact businesses and consumers as we head towards 2024, which is only 4 months away?
That's right. It's only 4 months, correct. Yeah, no, good question. A lot of trends are changing. So I will highlight probably 5 or 6 of them that I really personally believe will change. And again, the list doesn't end here. So first one, I personally think hyper-personalization is where one of the few key trends to consider. What that means is generative AI is enabling highly personalized experiences across industries. It's not focusing just one industry. I'm saying across multiple industries. So from customized marketing messages to personalized recommendation, generative AI models can analyze large volumes of data to understand user behavior and preferences, which then enables hyper-personalized interaction that enhances user engagement. That's going to be one of the trends. Like a lot of places you will see hyper-personalization coming up because we have a lot of data sitting there, but there's no way to use it. But now it will eventually get used. So one of the few key trends to consider is hyper-personalization. Second one would be synthetic media creation. Again, the generative models have given rise to sophisticated synthetic media creation, including deepfakes and GAN-created arcs. So I give example of deepfakes, how people were copying someone else's voice to call people, and then the GAN model that can create images for you. So while this opens avenue for creative expression and entertainment, but it also raises ethical and security concerns around the potential misuse. So one of the trends that we will see is synthetic media creation will go up. We'll also see a lot of ethical and security measures put in place to make sure it's not getting misused. So these measures will come in as well. A lot of people think like cool tech is getting developed, but nothing is happening around it to protect it. It's not like that. A lot of people, a lot of companies, organizations, governments are working around it to make sure they put in checks and rules and place requirements in place to make sure you can use it, but you can't misuse it. So that will come for sure. Third one is enhanced natural language processing. NLP has been there for a long time, so there's nothing new about it. But there'll be an enhanced NLP version coming out. So development in generative AI has vastly improved the capabilities of NLP. Advanced models like GPT-3 generate human-like text, which has widespread implications on content creation, customer service, chatbots, language translation. So you were able to do language processing back then, but now because of these models that sound like human but are not human, will now take it to another level. And this will be the most targeted industry for sure, enhanced natural language processing, because you can automate a lot of tasks. Customer service will be automated completely. You going to McDonald's and ordering on the drive-through will feel like a process where you're talking to a human, but it's not going to be a human. It's going to be a machine taking your order and asking you, how was your burger last time that you go out, and all that good stuff. So it'll sound like a human, but it is going to be a model that generates human-like text. The most popular industry for sure. Automated design in industries like fashion, interior designing, architecture. It'll automate a lot of design processes, creating unique patterns or structures based on certain input parameters. Again, the design industry is very, very user-based industry. So whatever you're designing has to match what someone is looking for. And this matching process takes a lot of time. You might have designed something, you show it to your user, and then they're like, oh, you know what, change this and make it look like that. And I want this now. And I thought about this last night in my dream, so I want even that incorporated. So that change time that you need today is longer. It'll become very short because models will do it. Models will take that input parameters and make the changes and edits and make it exactly the way you want. So then you can focus on other bigger tasks. Improved data privacy. That will be another big trend that will come up. So generative models can create synthetic data that can closely resemble original data while preserving the privacy. So this synthetic data then can be used for development, testing, training, without compromising on privacy regulations. So we will have a better and improved data privacy setup going, so we can generate more synthetic data using the current data, but also make sure we are not violating any privacy rules. Drugs and healthcare. When I say drugs, I mean medicines and healthcare. Generative AI models will be heavily used in the drug discovery process to generate potential drug candidates based on certain criteria, accelerating timeline for new treatments. And it can also help in creating personalized treatment plans. And this example was there on LinkedIn as well. I think Google came out with a way to scan for cancers without technically getting into a machine anymore using these models. So that's the first example of how it will change the healthcare industry. And a lot will change, just not that, but a lot in the healthcare industry will also change. So these 6 trends for sure will happen. I'm sure more will happen, but I personally think these 6 things will definitely be something to consider.
Yeah, 100% with you. And of course, we're just talking about Gen AI there, and that's just one subset of AI. And as businesses and industries alike embrace AI and machine learning, I'm curious, what key considerations should a company keep in mind to ensure that AI technologies are used responsibly and effectively? Because there's a lot of talk around this and a lot of caution at the moment, isn't there?
Correct. No, that's a good point. And as AI is becoming more transformative force in various industries, business have to ensure that they use it responsibly and effectively. And it doesn't matter how big or small you are, you still have to have things in place to use it the right way. So here are my several key considerations with respect to how they can use it responsibly and effectively. First, again, I usually start with this, and this is my favorite, data quality and privacy. So AI systems are as good as the data they're trained on. If you train it on crap data, the model is going to be crap as well. That's how it works. It's basically, think about it as humans. If you teach your kids the right things, they grow up with the right mindset. You teach your kids wrong things, they grow up with the wrong mindset. So it's literally how AI works. So the data that they're trained on is very, very, very important. So companies should ensure that their data is highly accurate, is high quality, representative, and unbiased. So you should not train any AI model with biased data, because it's not going to work the way you like. Additionally, with the increase in data collection comes the responsibility to respect and maintain user privacy. Big thing. Like, since you're collecting a lot of data, you have to maintain the user privacy. So companies should also comply with all the relevant data privacy regulations and handle customer data transparently and responsibly. You have to have processes in place to let people know what is getting collected, what is getting used, and give them the choice to be a part of it or not, because it's their data, it's their right. So you have to have that in place. Ethics and bias would be my second one. AI systems can inevitably perpetuate or amplify biases present in training data, leading to unfair outcomes. So companies need to proactively identify and mitigate these biases. Again, biases is a big deal in the AI world, because if your data is biased, your entire setup that you're going to have will be biased as well. So the biases that have to be mitigated has to be done in the right way. So this might involve diverse and inclusive data collection strategies, transparent algorithm decision-making process, and ongoing monitoring of biases or discrimination. So that has to be there as well for them. Third one, it would be transparency and explainability. Again, very, very important point. AI, especially deep learning models, which I refer to as black box, makes it hard to interpret the decisions. But if transparency is critical in many contexts, especially when AI is used in decision-making. And AI can be used in decision-making that can also affect someone's life. So it has to be done in a very transparent way. So companies have to prioritize developing and using explainable AI models whenever possible. Some models don't have to be explained because they are getting used to automate a part of the process. So you can keep that info to yourself. But there are some models that can tell you a life-changing advice or life-changing data, and you have to explain that so that people can decide to use it or not. Robustness and security. AI systems should be robust and secure against adversarial attacks. And these things have existed from medieval ages. Like internet came out, people figured out a way to use that in the wrong way. OS came out, people figured out a way to use that in the wrong way. iPhones came out. So the robustness and security has been there with every single thing that's out there. And companies should also conduct thorough testing and validations to ensure that their models behave as expected, even when they are faced with these attacks to trick and manipulate them. And I did see one of the posts on LinkedIn where ChatGPT was, one of the users was able to put a post out there on ChatGPT and ask it to tell 5 different ways to maliciously attack a bank. But it didn't do it because there are things in place that were able to figure out that this is an attack. And I'm not going to tell you that answer because it doesn't make sense. So those things have to be put in place because there are people out there who want to do good with it, but there's an equal side of the coin where there are people out there who want to use it for their own purposes. So we have to make sure that cannot be done. Human oversight and control, regardless of the level of autonomy of an AI system, there should be always a level of human oversight. And this is what I tell my team as well. When we build out a lot of models, like you can build as many models as you want, but you still need a small human interface in between to make sure what it's doing and how it's doing is correct. So in the same way, AI should augment human decision-making and not replace it. So having human in the loop is also done to ensure accountability. And we need that. That's what I tell people. Like your jobs can never be replaced because you can build something that does 90% of what you do, but that 10% of the human touch is still required. So we still need that. Long-term impact assessment is my 6th one. Companies need to consider the long-term implications of AI implementation. This might involve assessing the impact of jobs, considering ethical implications of AI decision, or maybe establishing a plan for handling unexpected consequences. Last 2 would be regulatory compliance. Depending on the industry and region, different regulations are necessary to be applied to AI. So the companies have to figure out a way to get there as well. And the last is continual learning and adaptation. So AI models may not perform well in an environment if the environment changes significantly from the conditions where they were trained. For example, you might teach a chatbot to take your order at a drive-through, but it's not going to order cosmetics for you as well. So you have to have that understanding that it's only meant to do what it's taught to do. So don't expect a lot of things from there. So, but that same model can be taught to identify user behavior when the user is coming to order, what do they like, what kind of meals they prefer. So the same way companies have to ensure the models can learn and adapt over time. So they can start small, like small things can be automated, then they can learn more from it and automate bigger pictures. So, but yeah, these 8 things are what I would say where AI technology should be used responsibly and effectively.
If we was to bring this back to Iterate.ai's platform for a moment, which is, as we said earlier, designed to accelerate the development and deployment of AI-centric enterprise applications, I'd love to bring everything that we're talking about to life here for everyone listening. So are there any success stories or case studies of how the platform has significantly improved innovation and efficiency for a specific enterprise? Because it's that deliverable, isn't it? And that value that people or business leaders want to get to.
Correct. No, it's a good question. And again, there's a lot of things that we have done in the world of AI. I'll list out a few, which makes a lot of sense to a lot of people when I talk to. The first thing that we did for one of our clients is automate the fueling process. And this happened during the COVID time. So what happened during COVID is people were not willing to touch the fuel pumps because you don't know who touched it and they would have COVID or not, and I don't know what's going on. So we built out this AI system where once you pull into the gas station, you would get a ping on your phone saying that, we know who you are. We have seen this car as well because you have already registered on this app as a user. You have already put in your car details. You've already put in your number. So it's like a setup on the app. You've already done this homework at home. So when you pull into the gas station, it will recognize you. It will read your car number and it will tell you that welcome to this gas station, gas number 4, pump 4 is free right now if you want to go there.
Yeah.
So you don't even have to waste time figuring out where should I go. It's 1 free, it's 4 free, it's 8 free. I don't see anything from here. Like, where should I go? So it'll lead you to the right pump. And then from your app, it'll let you decide the kind of gas you want. Do you want 50 cent a gallon gas? Do you want the premium one? Do you want the super premium one? What do you want? That is something that we did so that we can remove the human touch from the pump. So the humans can decide everything on the phone. So you can pick the kind of gas you want. You can pick the kind of payment you want to do through your PayPal, through your card, through cash, whatever you like. And once you do start on your app, all you got to do is step out of the car and put the nozzle in. That's it. Everything else is done. You don't have to worry about paying. You don't have to worry about swiping any card. You don't have to worry about getting your receipt in a paper form. You don't have to worry about touching anything on the fuel pump to figure out what gas you want. So this was one of the biggest innovations we did in 2 years ago. And this current solution is running live for more than 1,200 stores, gas stations out there. One of our most popular innovations, where a lot of people enjoy this frictionless fueling setup, where it's like, you know what, I just touch it once. And that's not too bad, as opposed to touching it 5 different times. So, but yeah, that's one of the cases where it was very helpful to automate the process using AI. The second most biggest thing we're doing with generative AI for one of our banking clients is a lot of people in the banking world, when they join a bank, there's a lot of documents to go through. There's way too many documents. As an employee, you are expected to know like 500 documents in a week's time, because you need to know all the regulances, compliance, rules, like how should you do, what should you do, what kind of questions you can ask a client for getting more information for the problems. So all these informations are there in a document, but you got to read all that. So for new people coming in, this was a lot of hard work. Like they had to spend hours and hours, and they would forget. It doesn't matter. If you study 23 hours a day, you're not going to remember all 23 hours. It's not possible. So we developed a generative AI model which can feed all these documents, and then you can question it. For example, you're an employee in a bank and someone shows up and says, my account is not showing me the money that's supposed to come. It was supposed to come on that particular day. It's coming from this vendor. It's not there. Now, you don't know what to do because you're new. So what you can do is turn around on your phone and ask this app that we built for that particular bank as to, this is the problem I have. What should I do? And then it'll figure out the answer from that particular 500 documents that we have trained it on, and tell you that, okay, looks like you have an account money not showing pending issue, and I want you to do the following things. So it'll tell you exactly the steps to follow to gather the necessary information and what is the next thing to do once you have that. So it automates a lot of things for you. Like if you're new and you don't know what's going on, this is what you do. So this particular bank that we are working with is deploying the solution so they can help out all the new hires, they can help out all the current employees to get to the answer quickly. And then it can also help their users, because when people go to the bank, they don't want to stay in the line for 40 minutes. Like, you should know what I'm asking because I expect you to know because you're a bank employee. And so it also helps their time. It also saves their time. It also makes sure that they don't waste a lot of time and they get to the answer quickly. So these are two distinct things that we have built. Again, two different examples, very different use cases, but both are powered with AI and both are solving a real case issue, real case problem out there. So
fantastic. Great examples. And your passion for this topic really comes to life. Your passion for technology and solving real problems in our conversation today really does. And if I was to ask you to look ahead, I mean, how do you see AI further shaping the future of businesses and society as a whole? And what excites you most about the potential of AI to drive more positive change and drive progress in various domains across multiple industries?
That's right. Again, you said it right. Multiple industries is probably the answer to this, but I'll touch on the 4 industries where I personally think it'll have significant power to shape the future and society in a lot of myriad ways. First, and my favorite industry is healthcare. AI will improve diagnostics, predict disease outbreaks, personalize medicine, streamline administrative tasks. These are the minimum things it'll do. I'm sure it's going to do more than that, but these are currently tasks where people have to wait, or people on the other side have to figure out what to say. But these things will become super automated, and it'll be right. It's not going to show you, like, for example, this is the going joke where if you have a problem and you go to Google, eventual answer is cancer. It's a going joke. The whole world knows. The more you Google on a problem that you have, it'll eventually lead to the answer that you have cancer. But that's not how it is. It's leading to a lot of correct answers, and you keep clicking on it, and it's telling you if you have this and have this and have this, then you're eventually going to get there. So that particular thing will go away. It's going to predict the right thing, the right area of your body that's not doing well, why it's not doing well, what should you be doing. For example, machine learning algorithms can analyze medical images or genetic data to identify trends that might be missed by humans. And this is very normal. You know so much you know. You can't know everything. Again, and even doctors, they do the best to their ability. They sometimes miss things, or they sometimes figure out things a little later. And this AI will come in conjunction with what they're doing and help them to get to the answer really fast. So catching diseases earlier and improving patient outcomes and things like that will really automate, and it'll have a significant impact there. Climate change and environmental management. No one talks about this. Everyone says global warming, it's too hot, I don't see snow anymore. Yes, but no one is doing anything here. But this generative AI technology will assist in predicting and mitigating the impacts of climate change. One of the areas where a lot of work is going on silently because it doesn't get talked about a lot, but it's happening. And this is where AI will be very powerful because it can help model climatic scenarios, optimize energy use, manage your resources, or even support conservation efforts by tracking animal populations or detecting illegal logging and things like that. So a lot in the environmental management and climatic change setup will happen using AI. And it's already happening. We just don't know a lot about it, but it will come to picture very soon. Third, and one of the most interesting industry is education. And this is already doing really well. So when generative AI came out, education is the first spot where it hit and hit really well. So it has the potential to personalize education, which these examples I've already seen and I've already played with it. So I know how powerful it has become. So there are models out there for kids to talk to. So if I have seen this, I'll send you a link of this as well. There's a platform where kids go and learn maths. Like there'll be a problem to solve. And instead of giving you the answer directly, which what happens today, if you don't know what the answer is, you click on the answer, it'll throw a blurb on your screen. Done. That's going away now. So this particular link that I'm going to share with you actually asks the students in real time, like, okay, you read the problem. What is going through your mind? Instead of giving the answer. And then when the student starts writing, like, okay, you know what? I understand what it's asking for. I don't know how to start. It'll throw a small hint. How about you look at this part of the process of the question and see what comes to your brain? Maybe it's asking you to do this, and maybe you use that to calculate that. So it's leading you to the answer and also teaching you how to get there, which is done in real time. In today's world, your parents are doing that. Your mom is sitting with you and telling you 3 plus 5 is 8. And how is it 8? It's that process of explanation is happening through a parent in real time. But this particular AI technology is doing that now. So it's leading you to the answer slow and steady. You make a mistake, it'll also go back and tell you, that was the right attempt, but you missed that part out. So education is going to change drastically, and it's going to change for the better of everyone. It's not going to give you the answer right away. It's not going to lead you to that. It's going to get you slow and steady in the learning process to the right thing. So again, education would be third. Supply chain and logistics. It'll optimize a lot of supply chains, improving efficiency, reducing cost, minimizing impact on the environment. It'll also predict demand, optimize routing, automate warehouse tasks. So all these manual things will be used in a different way. It'll still be there, but you will optimize a lot of things. Accessibility would be my fifth one. AI can help create a more inclusive world by aiding individuals with disabilities. A lot of people don't think about it, but this will be a big deal. A lot of individuals who consider themselves having disabilities and I can't do a lot of things, it's not like that. With AI, you will change a lot of things. For example, include voice assistance or real-time captioning services or autonomous vehicle. It doesn't really care about any sort of disability because it'll do it. You can be, for all you know, you can't walk, but you can still be in an autonomous vehicle and no one stops you from doing that. So it'll literally do that. Accessibility will go up in big terms. So what's truly exciting about the potential of AI is not just its ability to improve efficiency or profitability, but it's also it has the potential to address some of the world's most pressing challenges. So it can contribute to United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, from improving health or education and reducing inequality or combating the climate change. So a lot of things that I pointed out today are not generic stuff that people talk in the tech world, because everyone in the tech world are figuring out tech solutions, but there's a lot of broader things that can be solved with AI as well. But again, it's also important to note that these opportunities will definitely come with challenges. So we must have a mindful way of contributing ethically and have the right data privacy processes. So everything that has to be done the right way. You just can't shortcut to it. Basically, that's what I was trying to get. So, but yeah, that would be my take on this.
Well, thank you so much. It's so refreshing to hear your positivity and enthusiasm for leveraging technology to solve real world problems. So I want to turn to the universe now and ask it how we can make something happen for you, maybe, because some of the biggest names in business, VC funding and tech have either been guests or listened to this podcast. So is there a person you'd love to have a private breakfast or lunch with, and why? Who would that be? Because he or she might be listening to this, and I'd love to see if we can manifest something together on this podcast.
That's correct. No, thank you for asking that question, because I always wanted to meet two people in the world of AI. And I'll take two names because,
Yes.
you can always get lucky with one, if not two. So first one, again, top of the list would be the CEO of Microsoft, Satya Nadella, because he's doing really well. The whole ChatGPT world changed because of him. Microsoft is usually following the learn it all culture as opposed to know it all. So he really promotes the learn as you go and improvise on what you know and build a better solution for a better society. So he would be top of my list for someone I would like to meet. Second one would be Dr. Fei Li. She's the co-director of Stanford Institute of Human-Centered Intelligence, Artificial Intelligence, HAI. She actually inspires a lot of what I did say in today's podcast because she's been influential in the computer vision world, and she's an advocate of development and use of AI in the manner that benefits humans. So her perspective of human-centered AI would provide valuable insights for listeners interested in this ethical, social, and human impacts of AI technology. So she would be the one to talk to when it comes to AI and the ethical use of AI and the best way to put it out there for everyone that benefits the society. So she's been top of my list to talk to as well. So one of the two or two would be even better. So those are my name.
Two amazing choices. So I'm going to add both of those names and send them out there into the ether. Let's see what we can manifest there. All I ask is if anybody does get back to you, let me know and we'll celebrate that moment together. But for anyone listening, just wanting to find out more information about everything that we talked about today and the work that you're doing, maybe contact your team or even connect with you online. Where would you like to point everyone listening?
Well, if you guys want to reach out, LinkedIn would be the best place. Again, you can LinkedIn on my name. You can email me directly. I'll share all this information with you offline as well. So if you want to put it out there, I'm happy to talk or help. Or anyways, again, a lot of people today's world have a lot of questions, but they don't know where to start. So feel free to ping. There's no strings attached. You can ask me what you want. I can tell you what I know, and we go from there. So yeah, LinkedIn would be great. Email would be great. Phone would be great. Anything would.
And there's so much that you could talk to everyone listening about there, from how can generative AI boost creativity, different trends around generative AI and the broader AI sense as well, not to mention the evolution of AI technology. Whoever it is that contacts you is going to be in for a great conversation. But more than anything, just thank you for starting that conversation today with everybody listening. Really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
So a huge thank you to Shomron Jacob there for sharing his expert insights and giving us a unique perspective on the exciting and complex world of artificial intelligence. And our conversation today, I think, debunked some fears, illuminated some possibilities, and offered a much more balanced perspective on what AI can really offer us as a society, rather than just that let's ban this, let's stop this, that we often see in our news feeds and indeed on the TV at the moment. And I think we're also reminded that, like any tool, AI's utility is determined by how we use it, which is ethically, responsibly and innovatively. But obviously, let me know your thoughts. Email me now, techblogwriter@outlook.com, just at Neil C. Hughes on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, wherever you hang out. You should be able to get hold of me there. And as always, I'll be back again tomorrow with another episode exploring the latest and greatest in the world of tech. So stay curious, stay informed, keep envisioning a future enhanced by the positive power of technology. But that's it from me. So thank you for listening as always, and until next time, don't be a stranger.